Live from Manchester Morgue mostly contains spoilers. Mostly.
This is not a dream. We are using your preferred podcast provider as a receiver.
Hello and welcome to Live from Manchester Morgue, the horror movie podcast where we discuss what we think would make a really good double feature. I'm Gary. With me, as usual, is Ken. Hello, Ken.
Hello.
Hello.
I try and use a different tone every time. I don't know why I do it.
You do it in a different accent every time.
Oh yeah. Well, that could bring us under HR fire. The HR at the morgue.
No, I mean a British accent. Like,
Oh,
hey,
different.
man. Hey, Gary. My name's Ken.
Right. Okay.
Coming up on the show, we have some feedback and comments from you guys, a bit of horror news. We'll talk about what we've watched in the last couple of weeks. You'll see the glorious return of our regular hit and miss feature, How Many Cats Are in It? It's a good one this week.
It is. Yeah.
Well, not for the cats.
No.
And you can play along with Ken as he tries to guess more horror movie taglines.
I'm not looking forward to this because I got a hat trick last time.
You did. You got all three last time, didn't you?
Yeah.
Not sure about this time, but we'll see. If you want to help us out a bit, increase our range a little bit, please share the episode, tell your horror friends about the show, give us a rating wherever you get the show from. Apple and Spotify seem to be the main platforms. Stay tuned too, because we've booked some really cool interviews that will be coming out in between our regular episodes, just so there's a bit more for you guys to delve into. Last week, if you tuned in, Ken talked to Powerman 5000, Spider-1 and Christy Fox about their new film, Big Baby, which is on at Fright Fest this very weekend coming. That was a great interview, by the way. I wasn't there for that one. It was the day that I had my recent dental surgery, so I was not available. But I have listened to the episode and it was great. Well done, Ken.
Yeah, I really enjoyed speaking to both of them, Chrissy and Spider. Big Baby is great. I also like Spider's other films, but I can now tick off my bucket list that I have interviewed someone who did a song for a Tony Hawk Pro Skater soundtrack, and I will take that to my grave. That will be, I'll die happy with that.
Yeah, if you play Tony Hawk's 1, you'll know that song. And kudos as well for not mentioning his big brother.
Yeah, I got through the whole interview. To be honest,
I mean,
it was
we wouldn't want to do that, would we? We wouldn't want to do that. We wouldn't want to reduce him to his big brother's stuff. But
they have such distinctive styles. They're very different from each other, very different. And I think Spider mentioned in the interview that he's more the Kubrickian, slow-paced style, where his brother is the more like grindhouse, abstract kind of rapid fire.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. He didn't cite slashes particularly as a big influence, although Chrissy did.
Yeah.
I'll just read out some comments from our listeners. Feedback on, but these comments came on the back of the last episode where we talked about what did we talk about in the last episode?
We talked about two films. I can almost guarantee you that.
We definitely did, and they were definitely horror films. Obsession and Smile 2.
Finally talking about Obsession and Smile 2, yeah.
Dabke on the Moon said, ever since Killer Tunes, you guys have been great. Bring back Killer Tunes.
Okay. we would like to. I really enjoyed that format that Spotify had, but
yeah,
it's not there anymore, alas.
Dabke is a friend of the show, a regular listener, and he went out of his way to listen to our previous show, listen to all the episodes of that, as far as I know. So before Live from Manchester Morgue, Ken and I did a show called Killer Tunes, which was, I mean, I think the driving idea behind the show back then and now has been kind of like a radio show for horror fans, right? Yeah. Now it's kind of more talk radio. Killer Tunes, Spotify had this very brief feature where you could include any music that was on Spotify, but any band, any artist, any soundtrack within your podcast episode. So what we used to do on Killer Tunes was we pick 5 movies, talk about them to a lesser degree as we do on this show, and in between us talking about the movie, we'd play a song from the soundtrack. So it was a bit more of a radio show. And
it
yeah,
was a very useful, entertaining feature of Spotify. So of course they killed it off.
yeah, they killed it off after just about a year of us doing that old show. So we were reborn like the Phoenix and created life from Manchester Morgue. If you're interested in listening to Ken and I waffle on a bit more with some really good horror movie soundtracks, Killer Tunes is still out there on Spotify. As I say, Dad can listen to it all because he's a super fan and we appreciate
Yeah,
it very much. Uh, Dave, the expat, said, "Great show as
this guy,
always."
this
This
guy.
fucking guy. Great show as always. So you'll remember when we mentioned his comment last time, he referenced something called the whiz way, and we didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
I think he says something like right up the whiz way.
Mm.
He said, "For the record, a whiz way is your bumhole."
Ah.
I've never heard anyone's bumhole be referenced as a whiz way before, but thanks for clarifying that.
Well,
Uh,
that's what I'm calling it now. So.
yeah, that's it now. I'm wiping my whiz way every day. Um, Hearing the hot take smile to being preferred to obsession whilst driving home in rural Shropshire made me want to veer off road in a rage and take out some cows.
I shouldn't have said that.
Then I remembered differences of what makes us beautiful and wonderful. Also, cows don't deserve to be taken out by a bald mank in a Passat. Silliness aside, I love your show. It's just great. Maybe catch you guys at Grimfest.
Yeah, I'm going to try and get some Grimfest screenings. Even though I'm an old man, I like sleep, and they do really late screenings.
Yeah, we discovered this last year. Last year we did some Grimfest coverage and it was great. We got press accreditation, but we didn't attend because we got screeners. Maybe this year we'll attend. We've applied for press accreditation again, so hopefully we'll be able to talk about some of the films regardless. But yeah,
I
Dave,
think
anyone else going to Grimfest in Manchester this year? If you want to come, maybe we'll see you there.
I usually always turn up for the stalls. They do stalls in the cinema, and I usually turn up on the Saturday or the Sunday to look at the stalls. So if anyone has a stall that listens, or you know anyone that has a stall,
Yeah,
keep an eye
yeah,
out for us.
yeah. If you got a merch table coming up at Grimfest, give us a message and we'll give you a shout out.
Yeah.
Last bit, Alex. I think it's Loans. Alex Loans.
I know who that
Is he a mate
is.
of yours? Is he?
Yeah, he's always
Um,
been a mate of yours.
he says that shout out to Warren's girlfriend episode of Buffy is a brilliant comparison. That was to Obsession. Yeah, I think we made that connection about that episode of Buffy being. Don't know if it was a reference, if it was referenced by Corey Barker, but it was certainly dealt with consent in the
Yeah,
same way that Obsession did about essentially putting a woman under some sort of glamour where she really can't consent, which is my take on it.
I think I don't know if it's a direct reference. I've not seen enough interviews with Curry to attest to that. But I think the one thing I take away from that after you mentioned it in the last episode is I'm glad that as filmmakers and creators, generations apart, we're still identifying these kind of male archetypes and showing the world, what they can be capable of. Because as we've seen, most negative archetypes on male and female side um, echo through the ages. There's always my one of my mottos is there's always been cunts.
Yes, and to quote Game of Thrones, "There's no cure for being a cunt."
Exactly. Yeah.
I think there was some a bit of outrage recently. Is the character of Nikki supposed to be at Halloween Horror Nights or something? Is that a thing coming up in Florida?
Oh, I don't know.
Outrage because obviously she's not the villain by any means. So there was some
Yeah,
there was some um, negative feedback about that choice. If that's even happening, I'm sure I read that recently. Um, I mean, I think it's if she is going to be there as a character with someone playing her for fright based lols, I don't
yeah.
see it as necessarily a
The
bad thing or derogatory to the message of the film about consent. I mean, she's a lot of the horror from the film outside of the consent conversation is the fact that she's I mean, obviously India Navarrete smashed the role, but she's
Yeah.
creepy as fuck and fucking scary.
I think the situation that we're in now, and it's unfortunate, but that's just what money does. We are we have a film that's made $1 billion, so the people behind that money are going to want to do something with that IP.
Yeah,
It's very similar.
possibly without understanding the point.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the same situation at all, but it's something that we hold close to our heart at the morgue.
Mm.
When they made Pinhead essentially a slasher villain from Hellraiser 3 onwards, that's what
Yeah,
happened.
yeah,
The and it's very similar to how on the Hellraiser, just to use Pinhead again, on the Hell all the Hellraiser promo materials, Pinhead is front and center. He's like on the front cover of Hellraiser 1 and he's in the film for about a minute.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
The Cenobites are not even remotely in the film, hardly are they at all?
yeah, it's people behind the PR of these IPs trying to identify what people like and then exploiting that.
Yeah, I agree. Um, News, quite a lot of news this week.
Horrible news
Um,
again.
well, doubling as obituaries basically, but there's some sad news and then some good news actually. We'll start with the sad. Screaming Mad George, special effects artist, legendary. He was involved in Society, Predator, Big Trouble in Little China, Beyond Reanimator, which I think is the one where the rat fights a reanimated penis,
Yeah, yeah,
uh, and Dream Warriors, directed by Chuck Russell, who we reported in the last episode, sadly, that he also passed away. So,
yeah.
yeah, Screaming Mad George, he unfortunately died.
Legend in practical effects.
Absolute legend. You know, when you think of Predator specifically, you obviously think of Stan Winston, but there are so many people who work alongside the greats like Greg Nicotero and Rick Baker and such.
Yeah.
It's not a one man show, and he was involved in so many classics. And then Hayden Panettiere.
Yeah, absolutely horrible news. Obviously I'm a huge Heroes fan. I used to go to the Collectomanias to get signings, and I kind of met her as a fan
Oh,
at
you
one
met
of those
her?
things. Yeah, I got kind of the picture and signing from her. She was incredibly like the glowing personality as she is in the public eye. And yeah, 36 years old.
Yeah,
Uh,
no age really. Is stuff come out about what actually happened then?
not nothing confirmed, but it's well known to her fans and the internet that she's had kind of a hard time of it, struggling with substance addiction and trying to cope with the death of her brother, I believe.
Oh shit. Oh, that's sad. Well, R.I.P. Hayden and Screaming Mad George.
Yeah.
Sad for everyone. Slightly less sad, but nonetheless sad news. Tom Savini's house
Yeah, I saw the
has
fundraiser
burnt
for that on
down.
Instagram.
Yeah. So Tom Savini, obviously, absolutely legendary special effects artist. Yeah, his house has. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I don't know if there was a wildfire or like an electrical accident or something. But yeah, his house has burned down. Um, and there is a fundraiser out there, a GoFundMe or something to help him get through that. His I've seen interviews with him that in his house, and it was like a museum to all the
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
shit that he's done. It was full of props, memorabilia, masks, and stuff. It's like kind of how I want my house to be, but I'm not Tom Savini,
You get in
essentially.
there, you're on the way.
I've got some masks, I've got some cool things. But yeah, that's a shame. So if you're into Tom Savini and you want to help him out, I'm sure you can very easily Google the GoFundMe um, for expenses relating to his recent tragedy. So interesting news. So I think it was in the last show, Killer Tunes, where we did the Spider special episode.
Uh, yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Yeah, I think so because we talked about a few films. It would have been more than we would do on this show because we picked two. I think it was
yeah. We
like
did
five.
Arachnophobia, Arrest,
Yeah,
Infest. Oh yeah, because I think we did Infested, which was that French film, and you did the BMW Boys song, which is a banger.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. So Infested, aka Vermine, French film. I'm sorry, I can't remember the guy's name. He just directed Evil Dead Burn.
Yeah,
Sebastian.
something.
I can't remember his name. I'm sorry. Yeah. So the news is there's a new Spider film coming out called Crawlers.
Oh yeah. Who's the director behind that? That's got someone that's done things.
I'm not sure.
Oh.
I, I'm not. I should have made better notes and
This is
prepared
not a
better for
news
that.
item, Gaz, if it doesn't have all the details.
No, that's true. But the news is that there's been some backlash about the trailer to this because it looks like almost people are mistaking Crawlers already for a remake of Infested because it was a French film. People are thinking it's like an American remake of it, but it's not. It's not affiliated with the original movie in any way.
Oh, I see.
But there are so many shots apparently in the trailer and stuff that it looks very much a bit like a rip-off. I'm not saying it is. I don't know. Some people are saying, as I say, well, some people think that it's actually a remake. Others are saying that, well, spider films are nothing new. It can't be a rip-off. It's like some of the shots are a bit, like webs down a corridor, like loads of webs down a corridor and spiders in the corridor, like happens
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Infested, and it's in a like an apartment block apparently. So on the face of it, you might think perhaps not. I mean, it it's not an idea that you might think was particularly ripped off from somewhere else, but at the same time, it looks to some people a little bit too close to the bone. But it might
Hmm.
just be a situation akin to Dread and the Raid,
Yes, which
which is
yeah, the exact same. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and there was no rip off. They were just kind of in production at the same time. I mean, Infested is only a few years old. It might have been that the script for Crawlers has only just reached fruition. We don't know. Dread
Mm,
and the Raid have a lot of similarities,
mm,
but they're both absolute fucking bangers.
yeah.
But as I say, they weren't really in direct competition with each other, and there was no rip off kind of element of it. So I don't know. Go and watch Crawlers. I'll watch it. I'll watch anything with spiders in because they terrify me.
Yeah, I shouldn't, but I will.
I watched Arachnophobia with my kid recently, my 11-year-old son,
Did you like
which was
it?
great. Yeah, he really liked it. I've been getting into a few things. I started with Army of Darkness, then we watched Tremors, and then we watched Arachnophobia. And bear in mind, he's 11 now. It's 2026. These are like 30-year-old films. So it would be like us in the 80s watching something really fucking old and black and white. But no, he's really enjoyed them all so far. He really liked Arachnophobia as well.
Yeah, I watch Arachnophobia. Well, I used to watch Arachnophobia once a year to remind me how scared I am of spiders.
Well, right now in the UK is the peak time to do that because it's going to be the next 4 weeks when all the giant house spiders start coming out, isn't it?
Well, I think the last time I watched it was when we did the episode, so I'm due a rewatch. But the thing I like about Arachnophobia is not only is it an effective spider film, it's basically a monster film, and it's also a Spielberg film because Spielberg produced it, and Frank Marshall is one of Spielberg's proteges, so it has that kind of Spielbergian feel.
Yeah. It's very much a creature feature
Yeah,
and features John Goodman as Delbert, which is possibly the greatest role he's ever been in. I think.
he's great. He's good in it.
Um, what have you watched in the last 2 weeks, Ken?
Oh, right. I'll rattle through some quick stuff because I want to moan about the other one, and we've got to talk about these films. So I watched Widow's Bay. Well, I'm on episode 8 of 10.
Nice.
On your
Well, actually,
recommendation.
that was on my list of what I watched because I talked about it in the last episode, but I've now finished it. I only had one episode to go. Now finished it. I think it was excellent from start to finish.
Yeah, I hate agreeing with the internet, but it really is goosebumps for adults. I wasn't prepared for how each there's a narrative through line. No spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched it, but there's a narrative through line. It's set on this island. The main characters are like the custodians of the island, but each episode is like a bottle supernatural story. One of them is about a sea hag. One of them is about a haunted hotel,
Yeah,
and
it's
they all
Monster of the
feature the
Week.
main character. Yeah, it's Monster of the Week, but in a really cool way. I mean, Monster of the Week is cool. I like Monster of the Week, but
Yeah.
yeah, really really good. Like Widow's Bay, recommend anyone watch it. Really enjoyed it. Um,
I think, as I pointed out in the last episode, at least one episode that really reminded me of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. a spell gets put on a lot of townsfolk by accident.
Yes, that's a great episode.
Did you not think though that could easily have been something that would have happened in Buffy?
Yeah, and it's a highlight of one of my favorite characters in the show. Actually, she's great.
Patricia fucking
Yeah,
rules.
yeah. I like how the two best characters in the show are from the British Isles. Well, one of them's Welsh, but we'll let him off.
Yeah,
Um,
noted.
uh, the other thing since we've now everyone's heard the interview, I should probably talk about Big Baby, which is at Fright Fest, directed by Spider One, starring Chrissy Fox. I think Chrissy had a lot of creative on the film as she has on Spider's other films. Um, I really enjoyed it. It's best described as a meta slasher that blurs kind of reality and fiction. It's essentially about a screenwriter that brings his subject into reality. And it's kind of kicked off, uh, as mentioned in the interview, by annoying podcasters who say films are shit,
Yeah,
uh,
you
which
know,
I'm about to do.
well, I mean, we have thoughts about films. From that interview, I know Chrissy said there's kind of that really tiny percentage of people who just hate on things, and as much as you might not enjoy something, any piece of art, but specifically perhaps a horror film, I think on this show at least we tried to get it across that we appreciate the fact that it was made anyway and the effort that was put into it. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't love every single horror film that I've seen. Nobody does.
I think it's important, as I spoke about as Chrissy mentioned in the interview, I think it's important that we realize, and we have another interview coming up where we spoke about something similar. Films are really hard to make. So if you don't like them, just check your privilege first. Even shitty films that we think are terrible, a bunch of people worked on them, and they worked hard.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
the failing,
Someone made a film. That's a fucking
yeah,
achievement.
and the failing could have been in the script, it could have been with the acting, but everyone else is working on that, and you have to kind of appreciate what they did. It's very rarely you will see a bad film that is wholly bad.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I've seen people on social media just make a post about how much they thought any given film was fucking dog shit, that they hated it, and they'll tag like the director in the post, so they want the
ah,
director to know that they fucking hated it. It's like why? Just you can just not like it. You don't have to
yeah,
shit
the
on it to the
ins
person who made it. It's weird.
the internet and social media really did ruin us.
Yeah.
On that subject, right, I'm going to start with the good, and I'm going to do this as much as I can. I mean, I do this anyway. If anyone has heard me talk shit about films, I always try and temper my. But in the wake of Big Baby and what Spider and Chrissy said, Return to Silent Hill.
I mean,
So
I had high hopes for that being Christoph Gans because he
so
made the first one, which is fucking really good. And
we
fucking Brotherhood of the Wolf. What a fucking film.
we've spoken about the first one. Christoph Gahn is a really stylized individual kind of. I mean, it's probably a bit too far to call him an auteur, but he's a really great filmmaker. Things like Crying Freeman, Brotherhood of the Wolf, the original, the first Silent Hill film. It, for many years was my favorite video game adaptation. I think in terms of capturing the atmosphere of perhaps the best horror franchise in gaming, if not one of the best in media. He did a perfect job. And yeah, it wasn't, high cinema, but it had
What's
some
number
really
two then? Resident Evil in games.
oh yeah. Well, yeah, I'm a big Resi fan, so it's Silent Hill and Resi, they're the two juggernauts for me. I suppose there's like your amnesias and stuff, but
I
I'm not a
suppose
big fan of
with
those.
Resident Evil and Silent Hill, you've got quite a lot of fruit to pick though, because there've been so many games.
Yeah. So the first film was a bit of a blend of Silent Hill 1 and 3. But even back when the first film came out, a lot of people were like, all right, where's 2? Because by that time, 2 was out, and 2 is pound for pound the best horror game ever made. It still is. They've just remade it in recent years, and I went back and played the PS2 one, and it's still flawless.
That was
So
controversial. My favorite Silent Hill game is Silent Hill 3.
I mean, three's amazing. Don't get me
I
wrong.
love I
Three is
love one
absolutely
and two
amazing.
as well, but three is my favorite.
So, Return to Silent Hill covers the story of two almost beat for beat. It's very episodic in that it follows the events of the game. The production design's good. The music's all right, even though it seems to involve a lot of the people that did audio and music for the original game, but it really kind of moves away from using the themes of the game until like the very end. Um, the effects are good. There's more digital effects this time around, unfortunately, but they're still good. The creature design is great. We got like there's one scene with like a horrible spider woman, which is very creepy. She's like a horrible spider with spiders coming out of her mouth, but she's been deliberately sexualized, which makes it even creepier.
Right. Which is
So
kind of a
that's
theme of Silent Hill games as well, I
yeah,
think.
no, yeah, of course, yeah. So that's the good. The bad, literally everything else. I am not kidding. As a fan of the game, watching the film was deeply offensive. They make so many decisions about the story and how to change it. It's almost baffling. Should I tell you what? I am a huge fan of Resident Evil and I despise Paul W.S. Anderson's films because he somehow inexplicably jettisons all of the story and lore of the series in favor of casting his wife in some hero story and like kind of peppering elements of the games in there. Silent Hill does it even worse because it purports to adapt almost like episode by episode. Starts off in Silent Hill, he goes to the apartments, he goes to the hospital. It's very much following the beats of the game. Yet the decision Harry made, James Sunderland, sorry, not Harry Mason, that's Silent Hill 1. James
Yeah.
Sunderland, the decisions it has him make, he's an absolute knobhead in this. The way they handle Pyramid Head and how Pyramid Head is a projection or like a representation of Sunderland's psyche. Oh God. And I hate to do it, man. The acting's terrible. Like the writing's terrible. There's a lot of stuff on the internet when it first came out about his really ridiculous fake beard. And his fake beard looks terrible. When Mary comes into the story at the midpoint, who's like the kind of slutty representation of his dead wife that
Mm.
it represents obvious things. She looks like she's just stepped out of a Comic Con. It looks like a cosplay.
Oh no.
The actor playing James he's real bad. Like he cannot convey the emotion, the frustration, the kind of bottled psychosis that is part of that character.
So if you're
I
listening to this, the actor who plays James in Return to Silent Hill, if you want to come on the show.
I'm entirely sure it was the direction from Christoph, man. I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying he he
See, I don't
tries.
mind when they take artistic license with stuff like this, but at the same time, I think if you're going to divert so much from the established story and lore, then what's the point in making the film under that umbrella in the first place?
It's just it's just a series. I mean, it's a series of set pieces. There's a lot of build up like there was in Silent Hill 1, but the build up isn't really creepy. It's just a lot of story build up. And then when we get to Silent Hill, when those sirens go, it turns into an action movie. And like when you get to the apartments, the bit in the game where you first see Pyramid Head, he's just a boogeyman monster. He's just this big
Mm.
screaming dude. And famously when you first see him in the game, he stood behind a
Yeah,
door, stood there in silence.
and he's
Uh,
used very sparingly in the first film as well.
yeah, he's in like most of this film. I mean, it feels like he's in it a lot. And they
Mm.
keep like zooming into his helmet like multiple times, and you can see obviously the actor playing James, you can see his eye, and it's like, yeah, we get it, guys. It's James, we get it.
Yeah, yeah, not very
It's a very,
subtle.
very, very poorly made. Very. Do you know what? The second Silent Hill film, the one with Kit Harington in it, is
Oh
more
yeah, yeah.
entertaining than this.
Oh really? And I haven't seen that, but I heard not very good things about it.
Yeah, Return to Silent Hill is abysmal. I don't know what Christoph Gans was thinking.
Well, I'd like to cover Brotherhood of the Wolf on the show at some point. So let's hope that Christoph Gans doesn't hear what you had to say about
God, yeah,
this.
I hope he's not
Just
listening to
just
this.
in
We're never going to
case,
get him for an interview.
yeah, I mean, we're unlikely to anyway. But if you listen to this, there's absolutely fucking no chance. So yeah, all right, all right. So yeah, go and see Return to Silent Hill,
It's
or don't.
streaming on Amazon Prime.
Right, on to tonight's films. So we're going to talk about Night of the Creeps, legendary Night of the Creeps from 1986, and its spiritual successor, Slither from 2006. We've got one comment about these. I posted on social media we were covering these two films. I said we're getting wormy.
Really?
Chianeko says no worm eaters. It's not very good, and a link to the IMDb page for the film Worm
Oh
Eaters.
yeah, I know Wormy is. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Oh, you know it, do you? Of course you do.
yeah.
So I didn't know it.
Well, it's not.
1977 by Herb Robins.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's not. I think these films are linked, very much linked in terms of style and influence and execution. I think
Well,
Worm Eaters is a bit
I think
distinct.
it's a bit of a cheat episode to compare these because I think Slither is literally James Gunn's freaking adaptation of Night of the Creeps,
Well,
arguably in many ways.
you know what's really interesting? I've just got the Vertigo release 4K special edition of so it always sounds like I'm bragging when I'm saying that. I actually pay money for this and the podcast doesn't pay, so
Yeah,
I want to say this.
we buy
So
DVDs and Blu-rays, and we just out of our own pocket.
yeah, it's our job. Um he so in all the making of James and the commentary, James Gunn is like all of the influences, and it's specifically James Gunn's homage to all of the 80s films that
Yeah.
he saw. And not once does he mention Night of the Creeps. And
Oh,
I watched Night of the Creeps for the first time for this podcast. You suggested it, I've never seen it, and I was buzzing because it's Fred Dekker,
yeah, yeah.
and it's so similar. There's so many similar things
There's
to.
no way if James Gunn is citing practically every single awesome 80s horror film as an influence on Slither that he's not seen fucking Night of the Creeps.
Yeah, I couldn't spot it in the commentary or any of the making ofs. He names loads of films, and I'm going to go through. There's loads of references
Well,
in the film.
hang on. Just before we start this, right? So, how many cats are in these?
Oh, I didn't do a cat count, you know.
I
So I'm
did.
sure you did.
There's one cat in both films. So, there are
Yeah,
two cats, right? So,
yeah,
there's a cat called Gordon in Night of the Creeps who comes a cropper because he inhales a parasitic worm,
it does.
essentially. And then, right at the end of Slither, there's like a so both films are predicated on the idea of something coming from outer space and these parasitic alien worms. Right at the end of Slither, a cat finds uh, a fucking worm in the middle of the woods, and it cuts out. It fades to black
Yeah,
because it jumps on the cat. So literally, how is James Gunn not referencing Night of the Creeps?
yeah. I mean, maybe he just doesn't want to highlight that it's such a. If people will go, if he mentions it, people will go and watch it and think, "Oh, Jesus Christ, it's like a carbon copy." It's not a carbon copy. It's
It's
just
not a
very
carbon
similar.
copy at all. It's a massive homage. Right, just before we start, which one we're going to talk about first?
Slither.
Night of the Creeps.
Oh, fucking Christ! I'm just
Sorry,
never
yeah,
gonna get it.
Night of the Creeps.
I think
Right,
the only time I got it is because I was watching your Instagram and I saw the order you were watching stuff.
yeah, I don't often post my notes on there, but yeah, maybe you saw something like that. So, Night of the Creeps. Just a quick intro. Directed by Fred Dekker,
The great Fred Dekker,
legend.
Monster Squad,
That's the one I was
RoboCop
talking
2,
about.
The House movies.
RoboCop 2. Fuck me.
Also, who wants a cool Godzilla fact?
Me.
When Godzilla the Return came back in 1984, so the main Toho Godzilla cycle, the is it Heisei era? Can't
Yeah,
remember.
Heisei. It's like
Um,
Toho, Heisei, Millennium.
Yeah, so the Heisei era started with Return in '84. Although I think '84 crosses over from Heisei and Showa. I can't remember. Anyway, around the time that Godzilla Return, they asked Fred Dekker to write a Godzilla movie with Steve
Wow.
Miner of the Friday the 13th films.
What
And
happened to that?
they got a script together, and Toho just Toho just didn't pick it up. But yeah, there is a script out there written by Fred Dekker for a Godzilla film.
That's great trivia and also quite disappointing. So,
Yeah,
Night of the Creeps stars Jason Lively, Steve Marshall, Jill Whitlow. Dick Miller is there in a very small role.
he is. I've got that in my notes. Just Dick Miller with an exclamation point.
Dick Miller not being racist for a change, which is no, I'm
Yeah.
not suggesting he's racist, but sometimes his characters come across that way in
Oh, I
the
do have
80s.
a cat count. I've got cat count one, Gordon.
What? But for this one, or yeah, but then there's that one at the end of Slither as well.
I've only got one for this.
So Dick Miller, more than a bit part, because a bit part is traditionally 5 or fewer lines. He's more than that. I'd say a cameo, but I don't know how famous he was in 1986. Dick Miller. Like a cameo has to be warranted by their kind of celebrity status.
Well, it's post Gremlins.
True, yeah, and the Howling. He was in the Howling.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we've got fucking Tom Atkins.
Oh, this man's a legend. Every time I'm reminded that he's in a film, I'm like, yeah, he's amazing.
Almost every quotable line from this
He's
was his
got
character.
he's got a catchphrase. He's got like when he says "thrill me." He's got he's got his own catchphrase in this film.
He's got so many quotable lines. Like, he shotguns that fucking zombies. Like, it's Miller time.
It's phenomenal.
And then obviously, I think that the most quoted line. I got some good news for you, ladies. Your dates are here. Sorry, good news and bad news. Your good news is your dates are here. What's the bad news? They're dead. Fucking incredible.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
outside Tom Hopkins, the final cast member I wanted to talk about, David Paymer. So he's credited as a role young scientist. But David Paymer is a massively prolific actor. He's done so much, loads of stuff, TV shows mainly, but he's had bit parts in a lot of things. But weirdly, so he played young scientist in Night of the Creeps, which was released in 1986. The same year, he played a character called Larry the Scientist in Howard the Duck.
Typecast.
Typecast forever.
Yep. So, Night of the Creeps, really good. For my first time watching it, it's one of
I can't believe you've not seen that before.
yeah, it's crazy. It's one of those great horrors where it's got elements of farce and like sketch comedy that like pepper the humor. I love when they're at the lab and the coroner opens his special case to reveal it just contains a sandwich.
Yeah.
It's that kind of like sight humor, and it's really, I mean, this is the guy that brought us Monster Squad, and it's really sweet natured. Like there's a there's one of the main characters is on crutches, and it's not. I don't think he's had an accident. I think he's differently abled. And I read in an interview, someone asked Fred Dekker why he wrote that character in the script, and he said, "Well, I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
I just gave him crutches. It
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
like it doesn't matter."
Yeah, I read the
It's
same thing. That was going to be part of my trivia. Essentially, he just wanted to portray a character with a physical disability without the story being about that.
yeah,
Because just treat that as a normal thing.
yeah. And so it's great script, really sweet natures. The another bit of trivia: there's a go Monster Squad graffiti in the bathroom scene when the
There
guy with
is,
the
there
crutches
is.
in the bathroom. But yeah, really. So the interesting, I suppose, the link between these is they both homage a specific era of science fiction horror cinema. So Gunn is calling back to 80s. I mean, he's going back further as well, but he's calling back to the monster movies and sci-fi movies of the 80s. Dekker is riffing on 50s and 60s. So the opening of this film is in like gorgeous black and white. I kind of wish the whole film was like that. Um,
Yes, that's right. Yeah, the opening scene is set in the 50s essentially,
yeah,
which also has one of my favorite lines in the movie. So there's a young woman and her partner out on Lover's Lane, essentially in a car, and they hear some noises and weird stuff going on in the woods, and she goes, I want to go back now. Can we take the car back? I'll even let you fondle my breasts.
Yeah, it kind of it's an homage to like B movies, and it deliberately kind of utilizes the tropes from those films. It's quite obvious with it, but at the same time, it fits the tone of the script. He's throwing in those little tropey bits of dialogue and plot contrivances, but it all kind of fits together.
Yeah,
It's really, really good film. Really glad I
it,
watched it.
it was posited to me that there's similarly to the unholy trinity of folk horror. So you got the Wicker Man, Witchfinder General, and Blood and Satan's Claw. This forms part of a resurrection zombie 80s trilogy from 85, 86 with Night
Yeah,
of the Creeps, Return of the Living Dead, and Reanimator.
yeah,
Three really good horror comedies that came out within about 2 years of each other.
and kind of feature zombies to some
Feature
extent.
zombies, yeah. I mean, I think zombies is a fair term for all three of those films because, I mean, there's a line in Night of the Creeps where one of the characters says they if you get infected by one of the parasites, you walk and talk while they eat you up, but you even walk and talk while you're dead. So you are effectively a reanimated corpse,
Yeah,
which obviously happens in Reanimator and Return of the Living Dead.
always reminds me of the line in Shaun of the Dead when he says zombies and he's like, "Don't say that. It's ridiculous."
Because zombies is kind of like I think at least up until things got a bit more self-referential and a bit meta, nobody referred to zombies as zombies. Like Romero didn't refer to The Walking Dead as zombies, did he? In at least in
I
his original trilogy.
Ken Foree uses the word zombie in Dawn of the Dead. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe
I
he
don't know
does.
if it I don't know if it was one of the other versions, but I'm pretty sure he does. Check it, listeners.
I'm not checking it out. Maybe I'm wrong. But I mean, it's not commonly said, especially
No,
like
no.
up until things, as I say, got a bit meta with sort of Scream and stuff. Not that that's a zombie movie, but yeah, I don't think people started referring to the Living Dead as zombies until a bit later on,
And then of
in
course
spite of them being in zombie films.
we get to like Land of the Dead where Dennis Hopper has that great line, "Zombies, man, they
They
creep me
creep me
out."
out. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
uh, so I felt like Night of the Creeps would have also been a really good pairing with Vamp, the Grace Jones film.
I love Grace Jones
Yeah,
very
I
much.
fucking love Vamp. We should definitely cover Vamp on the show.
Yeah.
But like so many 80s sort of horror comedies, or even like not even horror comedies, just like coming of age comedies, two lads looking to get laid are kind of the central characters. But
Yeah.
they have some really funny banter as well. Like there's one of them says to the other, "My grandparents have more sex than we do." So you mentioned earlier, um, James Gunn doesn't cite this film,
Not directly, no.
but there are quite a lot of references within Night of the Creeps to other horror creators, directors, and stuff. And there are in Slither as well. Like
There
the on,
are, yeah, almost the same. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
So like in Night of the Creeps, one of the cops is called Raimi. There's a character called Hooper. There's a Romero.
I think every character is named after a director. There's a character called Landis, Miner, Romero, Raimi, like you
Yeah,
say.
yeah. And
Carpenter Hooper is one character. Carpenter Hooper,
yeah,
double barrel.
double barreled. Yeah, and there are many things like this in Slither as well. Like there's a shop called McCready's, obviously named after R.J. McCready and the Thing and stuff like that. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
the mayor is named after McCready, so that's
That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Is
So I don't know. I know that James Gunn didn't explicitly come out and say that this was not an influence, but I think it's notable by its absence in the list of films
yeah,
that he was talking about.
yeah.
Do you want to play some guess the taglines?
I don't think I do.
Well,
I don't have a choice, do I?
well, no, we're going to do it anyway. I mean, if you want to do it next time, I'm happy to fail at all of them.
Oh yeah, I could do it.
You could do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I could
yeah.
do one round.
What I'm struggling to do at the moment is remember which ones we've done already. So as a feature, I think it's kind of running its course a little bit. But I've gone a little bit easier for one tonight. The other two are hard mode. Are you
Okay,
ready?
okay, okay. Go, 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 go.
All right. Number one. In space, no one can hear you scream.
Are you fucking kidding me? So like the first one's like the easiest ever, and then the two are like the hardest.
I wanted you to get at least one.
Oh,
So
great.
you might know them all. Anyway, right. So you know that. The next one is it will take your breath away. All of it.
Mm. That's my poker face
Was
sound
that?
because no one can see my
As I
poker
say, is that
face.
your? I know that noise, or is it? I don't have a fucking clue noise. All right. Number three. She is young. She is beautiful. She is next. You got 10 seconds from now.
Okay, okay.
Ding, ding, ding.
Well, that's an actual tune, right?
That was Tales from the Unexpected. My rendition of it. It's been 10 seconds. Right. So, Space No One Can Hear You Scream is obviously,
Oh, okay, I've got to dignify it with a response. It's Alien.
yeah, because now you've got one right. It will take your breath away. All of it.
Uh, I don't know.
Apparently, it's from Dead and Buried from 1981. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it. I don't know the tagline, but I've seen it.
Oh, I haven't seen it. I don't know anything about it, but well done. Finally, she is young. She is beautiful. She is next.
The Sentinel.
The center. Holy shit! Did you actually know that?
Yes.
Wow.
So,
Because
so tell you why. Um, everyone we spoke about this before, but everyone's got a man with videos in back of the van.
yep, yep.
And the front cover of that is quite provocative. And my mum rented it one day.
Fucking hell. So when do you think you watched The Sentinel to remember that?
I don't know, 80s.
So you, I mean, that's like photographic memory. You're like a superhero.
Fucking, I wish.
That's incredible, though. I mean,
I'd be
just on the
rich.
basis of
No,
watching one film that I rented one time in the 80s, I would not have fucking got that.
some things you carry through, like if you, especially like geeks, people that like geek media, you'll carry specific things, and I'll carry like what that film and the thought that I had when I first saw the VHS. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, yeah, I get it. I just think you're more likely to remember if it's like a VHS that you rented several times or owned because you'd see it repeatedly. But no, that's impressive, man. Um, I just pulled them basically off a list on the internet. I didn't think you'd get that one, but yeah, kudos. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, as we
What
say a
what
lot.
list?
I just Google it and then find taglines. I'm not. When I ask you the taglines, it's not films that I just know the taglines of. I Google them and then I wouldn't have got as many as you've got throughout the whole feature over several episodes. I'd have got like one, I think, so far.
Yeah. So I mean, the set is it Michael Winner?
It is Michael Winnie, yeah.
Yeah. So the Sentinels, it's got a really nice front cover, which is like green, and I like The Exorcist, and The Exorcist got a green. Well, some of the home releases of The Exorcist when they unbanned it were like green tinted, and it also
Yeah,
looks like a zombie movie because it's like zombies on the front.
yeah, fair
Um,
enough. I think
but
Rosemary's
yeah,
Baby has got
that
the
green
pram with
tint,
the green tint. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
like it. It's very Halloweeny. I like green tints in horror.
Cool. I have seen the Sentinel as well. That's the one at the end of it, like a portal to hell opens in the apartment block, and all the actors who play these supposedly fucking demonic denizens of hell are people who have actual conditions that affect their features and stuff. Like they
Yeah,
have very unique faces and features and such.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, controversial. Anyway, on to our final film, Slither, directed by James Gunn. Before he was literally the head honcho at DC movies.
God, it's nuts, that, isn't it?
But whilst he was married to Jenna Fisher of The Office fame, she's in this movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
She's this receptionist in the police station, isn't she?
yeah, yeah. We've got Elizabeth Banks. the main protagonist is none other than Captain Mal Reynolds of the Brown Coats
God,
himself,
God among men.
God among men. And then we've got Michael Rooker.
So this was the first time that Michael Rooker worked with James Gunn. James Gunn, I think it was his second or first. I think it was his first post-trauma feature. So he'd written some screenplays. I think he'd sold some screenplays, and this was I think this after he sold the Dawn of the Dead screenplay, directed by
Zach,
Zack Schneider.
which is, we've agreed before, is a fucking excellent remake.
It's possibly the best Zack Schneider film, to be fair. Um, Yeah, so he wanted to sell the script for Slither. He didn't want to direct it, but he ended up directing it. And he kind of, with it being his first major feature, well, major post trauma, he kind of was picking, people that he liked, people that he'd seen in other things, similar to how Tarantino like cherry picks people that he's like a fan of. And he
Yeah,
was a big fan of Rooker. And it was the first time they worked together. And he would then go on to put Rooker as a main uh, actor in his Guardians films for Marvel, which
yeah,
probably made Michael Rooker rich beyond his wildest
yeah,
dreams.
yeah. So Yondu, is that his character's name?
Yondu, yeah.
Yondu, yeah, yeah.
Um, he's really, really good. And this is a heavily, heavily practical film. There's digital effects in it, but it's a heavily practical film. And some of the prosthetics that Michael Rooker has to endure in this film for what would be a very low paycheck, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, yeah. It's ironic, isn't it? Because we've talked previously about the horror movie to massive director pipeline with stuff
Yes,
like
yeah.
people like Sam Raimi and Peter Jackson. And it's kind of the opposite for James Gunn. He went from doing this and then to sort of Guardians of the Galaxy
Yeah, I mean,
as a
it,
massive property.
yeah, yeah. He didn't have a long time before the blockbusters came. I think he did Super after this, with the Rainn Wilson kind of superhero, well, not superhero, but street level hero
Yeah,
psychosis film.
good film.
Um, it is a good film. I think he was gonna direct Super instead of Slither, but he was kind of encouraged to direct Slither. So he did that before. But yeah, Super's great, and then shortly after that, yeah, Guardians, and the rest is history. And now, as you say, he heads up Warner Brothers DC label for whatever that is worth. I know Supergirl just bombed because we hate women in things.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't seen it actually. Have you seen Supergirl?
Yeah, it's not great. It's but it's not crucially, it's not great. It's not bad for the things that the internet says it's bad for. It's bad
Yeah,
because it's not a very well written or made film.
but it's overhated because of men,
Yeah, Millie Alcott's
presumably.
great. She's like perfect Supergirl. Absolutely nothing wrong with her. Does really good. Jason Momoa in there as Lobo. Eh, eh. This is
Well, I
like
mean, he looks the part. I mean, there's
Lobo.
nobody on the planet who looks more like Lobo than Jason Momoa.
Well, there's two things about Lobo. One, he's one of the coolest characters in comics. Two, he was designed as a piss take of comic book archetypes, and I don't think they get that. They make him cool, like a cool badass, and they cast a cool badass to play him. But yeah, I
I
don't know.
suppose you could make the same argument about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, though, couldn't you? And look how well they do.
Yeah, those Ninja Turtle movies are fucking dope, though. Well, the first two are.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not decrying the movies. I'm just pointing out that Eastman and Laird created that original comics as kind of a piss take of
Yeah,
of the ubiquity of like Marvel comics and such. There's a reason that their enemies are called the Foot Clan. You know,
yeah,
it's a direct reference to the hand from from Marvel and Daredevil, isn't it?
yeah. Recently seen in Spider-Man: Brand New Day, which has done $800 billion.
Yeah, I mean we do sometimes divert from the horror on the show. I went to see Spider Man. I fucking loved it. I'm a big fan of Tom Holland as Peter Parker. I'm a huge fan of the Punisher as a character, and I love John
Yeah,
Bernthal's take. I love. I mean, just before I watched the new Spider Man movie, I watched um the Punisher special, One Last Kill, which is 45 minutes of Frank Castle fucking murdering everyone.
it's a
Like,
flagrant lie. The title is a misnomer.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Several last kills, I'd say. and several more to come. But it was really great how they managed to do that in that R-rated manner, and then have him essentially play the same character in a Spider-Man film designed
Yeah,
for 12s, and it doesn't feel false. Like they both ring true, which is what
yeah.
they've always done in the comics for years.
Well, I think we're saying we're diverting, but I think this is an important point to this film because this is the formative film for James Gunn. It would go on to establish what he could do with a budget, what he could do with effects work, what he could do with a script. Um, and then that is one of the main reasons that he got Guardians of the Galaxy, and arguably across those early phases that run up to Infinity War and Endgame, Guardians is responsible for bringing a lot more diverse demographic over to those MCU movies because they were arguably, still just for comic book fans, and the Guardians films were a bit more diverse appeal, the humor, the kind of the down to earth characters in an out of this world setting, bit dark, bit of horror, bit of sci-fi, great soundtrack. This is all stuff that comes from James Gunn's signature as a filmmaker,
Yeah,
and
a bunch of
I
misfits essentially when you compared to something like the Avengers, who are the A-listers.
yeah, and I would certainly argue that obviously something else might have come along, but if Gunn hadn't injected that kind of that fun, that kind of a bit more adult flair into his writing, into the Guardians, the MCU wouldn't be the juggernaut that it is. I think it's certainly a contributor. A lot. The Guardians films are a huge contributor to the popularity of the MCU.
Yeah, I mean, arguably, I mean, you could say this about a lot of the MCU. Guardians of the Galaxy would absolutely none of them were a household name
No,
before the movies. You could argue that about Iron Man to an extent. Everybody knows who Spider Man is. Uh, he was more of a household name, but certainly not on the level that Iron Man is now.
yeah, I mean it goes in degrees, doesn't it? Like a lot of people say that Iron Man was a B-lister until the film. That's not true at all. Like he's a founding Avenger. Iron Man was a very popular character in comics, but um, in terms of degrees of engagement with comics, you forget pre-MCU comics were very much a niche. There was they were really popular when they started, and then the 1950s happened and the whole EC Comics debacle, and then they were the niche thing that nerds read, and now everyone's a comic book fan. Like everyone knows about all of the comic book characters, and like you say, the Guardians. I mean, I knew about them because I'm a fucking nerd, but I know a lot of comic book fans, like very learned, since childhood comic book fans that haven't touched the Guardians comic, let alone encountered many of the characters that are in those films in other comics. So yeah, it's that kind of, I suppose, Guns nerdy horror sci-fi shtick. It translates really well to that kind of big budget stuff, and I think that's evidenced in Slither um, quite a bit. And something we spoke about in the Blob remake, one of the things that he does really well is that grounded community feel. So the thing that stands out about Slither is the character. It's that small town community, and the dialogue is naturalistic and jokey, and you really feel for these characters. So when when the shit hits the fan and they get killed in horrible, horrific, slimy ways, you really kind of care about them. And it is funny and it is kind of slapstick, but at the same time, he goes out of his way to make you care for these characters, and that's
Yeah,
what he would go on to do with the bigger films.
yeah. The characterization is great, and I mean, you've got Nathan Fillion as Fillion, sorry, as Bill Pardo. Is that his,
Bill Pardy.
Bill Pardy? Sorry.
Yeah.
And his delivery of some of the lines, like when he encounters when they go in that barn, and she's like a massive worm-infested balloon essentially, and he just goes,
Yeah.
so uh, what's going on here exactly?
It's like that whole scene is great. It's just like, oh, maybe we should call doctors, and it's like, what would we say? It's
Yeah,
great.
what would you do?
Practical effects. Giant testicle woman. Great.
That's how I should have referred to it. Yeah, yeah, fair.
Well, testicle or breast because there's some great behind the scenes footage where Gunn always intended her to look just like a giant testicle or
A big,
tit.
a big tear.
And the art guys are like, oh, maybe she should look like this, and maybe she should be all bloated like this. He's like, no, a big sphere. I want it to look like a big sphere. So they made a huge practical inside that thing is like a framework where the actress sits and is jostled about. So it's quite fun.
Yeah, it shines through as well. You can tell it's not CGI. And I know you can't always tell every little bit of enhancement that CGI offers to every single scene in the film, but it's fairly obvious that they actually created that.
Yeah. So yeah, influences. Night of the Creeps apparently not one of them, but obviously yes. Uh, he's predominantly influenced by Cronenberg. We were talking about the geeky references. We've got MacReady and when uh, the I forgot his name now. Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy, Michael Rooker. How do you forget Michael Rooker's name?
When I was writing the notes to this, I kept writing Henry Rooker because because of Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Portrait of a yeah, Michael Portrait of a Serial Killer. Um, the when he goes in to buy meat, the brand of the meat is Brundle's meat.
Oh, I didn't clock that.
So heavily influenced by Cronenberg, this
Meat.
film. Yeah, meat. Carpenter. He was inspired by Junji Ito's manga Uzumaki, which he was reading at the time when he was writing the script.
That's
So that's
Spirals.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I mean, there's other stuff. So I don't know if you noticed when you were watching, or you must have, when they go out to the field to get is it Grant,
So
which is
the tooling up montage.
with the Predator music.
Predator music, yeah, it's a riff on Alan Silvestri's Predator theme, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, very very cool. So there's
Yeah,
stuff like that. There's stuff like that as well. But like, it's not riff-tastic. It's not like every 5 seconds there's some sort of homage to another film. He's got a lot of his own content there. It's that community focused story, the cool niche needle drop music, gloop swearing, dubious sexual content. It's very James Gunn. This film. It's my favorite James Gunn film still to this day.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I love it. I adore it. Just as another aside, we were talking about Super earlier, which was his broadcast vigilante Batman film,
yeah,
essentially.
shut up, crime.
Shut up, crime. I really like that. A lot of fun. Rainn Wilson is really good in it. So after that, it was nothing to do with James Gunn, but you had Brightburn,
Yeah.
which
Well,
was
he produced it, didn't he?
oh, did he actually? Right. Well, that
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense. Yeah. So Brightburn was like, what would happen if Kal-El landed on Earth and Superman was an evil kid instead of fighting for truth, justice in the American way or whatever. Um, and there's a bit in that I think at the end where you see some pictures of when these other sort of supervillains um, form a team with evil Superman Brightburn.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, and there's like an evil Wonder Woman. It's clearly supposed to be like evil Justice League.
yeah,
There's like an evil Wonder Woman who like I think she hangs people with her hair or something instead of having the lasso of truth.
yeah.
And then the character from Super is in there as well, playing the Batman role.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's a little homage to some of his previous work in there as well. But overall, I guess why that and Super and the Guardians are why he ended up being the head of the DC EU,
Yeah.
as they call it.
I think it's just DCU now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it DC EU was the Zack Snyder one, wasn't it? The Snyderverse.
Yeah, because it's Snyderverse and other stuff, and I think it's just DCU now.
Yeah.
Or just DC. Who knows? Who knows? Supergirl's bombed, so they might just retool yet again.
They'll
But
probably just bring Batman forward.
I mean, yeah, we've got two Batman film coming, two Batman.
Yeah, I
Bat
think that we've got the Batman too, haven't we? Which I don't think is part of that. I think
no.
there's the David Corn Sweat Superman, and there's a wider DCU, which is like the MCU essentially. Maybe that's why they called it the DCEU before. They didn't want to be seen to be ripping off Marvel too much.
Yeah,
But there's obviously going to be a Batman in this universe, and it's going to be a bit more kind of brave and the bold flavored, kind of
Brave, yeah,
a
Brave
bit
and the Bold,
lighter.
yeah.
Have they cast Batman yet?
No. Oh, if
No.
they have, it's not been announced.
Fair enough.
The world will explode when they announce that. It's
Yeah.
like the next James Bond. It's like the casting.
It's a fucking big deal. I mean, I'll watch it. You know, you've got Hellboy, I've got Batman. I will watch Batman.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same with Batman. Like, Batman's my favorite superhero, even though he's not
Mm,
super. He's just rich.
we'll have to have a Batman off one time.
Yeah, a Batman off. It sounds like a sexual act.
Maybe it will
Uh,
be. Stay tuned, folks.
yeah. But yeah, like we're talking about superhero movies again. I think it's definitely worth noting that for anyone who knows James Gunn, he started off in making Trauma films. Trauma is a studio very similar to the work that Roger Corman would do back in the day, where it's like independent filmmakers making shit on their own terms. A lot of Toxic Avenger, if anyone's heard of that character, which
Which is
also
a
had like
superhero
a
story in its own right, isn't it?
yeah, it's got its own 90s cartoon,
Yep.
which
Sergeant Kabuki Man NYPD.
yes, yeah, um, and Romeo and Juliet, which James Gunn wrote and directed.
Oh, did he?
Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know if he directed it, but he definitely wrote it. Um, so this film, Slither, is for me. I always talk about meeting points in directors' styles. This for me is the exact meeting point of his trauma work and what he would go on to put in Guardians, because having a budget, having studio backing, and being able to translate that very, I mean, for lack of a better term, edgy adult style into a marketable thing that is no longer this niche thing in this studio called Trauma, which most normal people haven't heard of, to then translate that into something that would then go on to some rich suit saying, actually, yeah, bring this guy in to make $1 billion movie. It's it's a special thing, and I think James Gunn is one of the only filmmakers that's managed to pull it off.
Yeah, and as I say, that weird reversal of the kind of pipeline of massive horror director to massive IP director.
Yeah, yeah. I found something out during my uh, trawling of the special features of this film. Do you know? You know how we usually talk about Canadian actors? Let's just say, off the top of our head, Catherine Isabel.
Sure, yeah,
You
we've
know,
talked
like
about her several times. Yeah.
exactly. You know, we say like this film was obviously shot in Canada because this, and this is in. Well,
Mm.
I don't know if you've mentioned it before, but what I didn't know is um, when you shoot in Canada, you have a limit of how many US actors you can cast, like a legal requirement, or at least like a union requirement or something. Which is why most films that are shot in Canada, you have to fill the roster out with Canadian actors. So that's why a lot of small roles. That's why you see Catherine Isabel in like random shit for like 5 seconds.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So there must be this stable of Canadian actors that are called upon when when a US film is shooting in Canada, and they're only allowed like, a dozen US actors and the rest have got to be Canadian.
So I think when obviously Jen and Sylvie Soska, the Soska sisters, are Canadian, and Catherine Isabel has been in obviously American Mary, most famously probably.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and they've done stuff like Rabid is one of our favorite remakes. We've talked about that on the show. Um, I'm sure I remember when watching Rabid. There's like what the end credits where you find out where the funding has come from in certain ways. I'm sure
Yeah.
something in Canada was mentioned there. I don't know if it was shot in Canada, but I'm wondering if of the 5 Canadians that they must have had, sorry, the 5 not Canadians that they must have had shooting that, CM Punk must have been one of them because he's from Chicago.
Yeah. It's interesting. The world of filmmaking across the US and Canada.
I reached out to them when I was doing that trial of IMDb Pro. I found
The
their email
Oscars.
address. Yeah, Soskers. I emailed them and asked if they wanted to come on and talk about. I can't remember actually if it was American Merit or Rabid. It was one of them.
We
But I didn't
covered
get a reply.
Rabid.
Yeah, we did cover it, but I thought, I mean, if they wanted to get on the show, I'd fucking cover it again, because they'd
Yeah,
add new insight to it that we couldn't possibly have. So,
absolutely.
yeah. But anyway, they didn't get back to us. So, yeah. Jen and Sylvie, if you listen to this, we'd love to have you on the show.
We are
Similarly,
big fans.
David Cronenberg, famous Canadian, if you're listening to this, yeah, please hit us up. We'd love to talk to you.
Wait. Isn't David Cronenberg dead? Says Ken, knowing that he's not. But if I say it on the podcast, he won't die.
He definitely won't die. Yeah, fair. All right. And also, hopefully you'll just hear that and go, haha, that was a funny joke. I like the cut of these British guys' jib.
That is not how David Cronenberg talks. I know that for a fact.
No, but I can't do a Canadian accent because I'd resort to doing like the offensive one on South Park. So
I wonder what you meant then. But yeah, South Park, yeah, of course. But yeah, I think that's what we got on Slither. I don't have any more notes on Slither.
No. I think all that remains to say is thank you everyone for listening. Sorry we waffled on a bit more about superhero films and James Gunn's tenure as a director of those films than we probably did one of the films that we said we were going to talk about in this episode. But I hope you enjoyed it anyway. We'll be back in 2 short weeks. Please check out the interviews we've been doing in between the main episodes. Spider ones last week. We've got another one coming out just after this show in the next couple of days.
Is that Elijah or Chris?
Chris Schwab. Because we talked to director Chris Schwab. He's got a movie coming out called Dracula: The Night Around Us, which is having its UK premiere at Fright Fest, which at the time this episode is released will be in a few short days. And the interview will be out just a couple of days before that.
Really enjoyed the film. Really good. Really unique spin on the Dracula mythos.
Yeah, and he was really cool to talk to as well. I'm genuinely passionate about his craft. Really cool guy.
Yeah.
So we'll see you in 2 short weeks. Thanks for listening. I've been Gary. This has been Ken.
I have
Say goodbye,
been Ken. Goodbye.
Take care.
See ya.
Live from Manchester Morgue is an independent horror movie podcast, researched, written, produced and hosted by Gary Hames and Ken Talbot. New episodes air every 2 weeks on Spotify, Apple, YouTube and all major podcast providers. You can help us grow by leaving a rating or sharing the show with like-minded friends. If you want to get in touch, you can leave us a comment or email us at killertunes976@gmail.com.